Our spinning clock.
Yep.
I do love that intro. Thank you.
I do too.
Yeah. You did so well with it. You really did. And just Christopher coming in with his improv with it.
Oh, Christopher's
really good.
crazy good.
Yeah. And I appreciate his editing of it. Like it's a really nice treat. So thanks for letting me use it.
That's okay.
I always feel like I'm like stealing. Get all these great little pieces of music from several of my friends, especially from you, and I love it. It just adds that little bit of personalization. I love. Well, today, well, I titled this one "All the World's a Stage," like for the attention. There's this whole chapter is
about attention.
About attention, and I keep hearing Charlie Pugh in my head. Like,
me too.
You trying? Are you like, you want attention? Yeah, you just want my attention.
Just want attention. Yeah.
Yep. Hey, were you trying to learn that song or something? I don't know why. Like, it's like I hear the chords. Just like
I think I do have the chords for it. I think I was practicing it at one point.
I think so.
It's a fun song.
It is, and I like him. Like, he's a pretty good writer. I like him, and he's always got a good hook. But yeah, it's in my head because I'm just like, this one's a little different, this chapter, because although we know that like Green is actually spot on, in my humble opinion, about this chapter. He really is. But at the same time, in society, we kind of get a lot of pushback about not hogging the limelight. Don't put the attention on yourself.
Yes.
What kind of an egomaniac are you? We're just gonna put it out heads down. Like, we have a YouTube channel. Of course, we're an egomaniac. Of course we're here for the attention.
It comes with the nature.
It comes with the territory, right? Yeah.
The thing is, whether people want to admit it or not, we all look for some kind of attention one way or another. And the easiest way to put it is like, you need to get good attention to get a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go into a job interview, you want the attention on you because you might be competing with several other people.
Mm-hmm. And it's that little bit of difference of something they may have known or heard about or whatever. And this
Hmm.
chapter kind of hits hand in glove with the chapter before on reputation. Um,
It does.
it does because, like, they're both hit or miss. There's times to do it and times not, and it's kind of like
Hmm.
a balance, right?
Yep.
Um, like I was thinking about that, especially when we were going over some of the examples, which we'll get into later, but it really started to hit home. But uh, I think obviously we all know that the one you're going to pay attention to in a room is the one that's being the most entertaining, being boisterous, funny, But then again, maybe even the quiet one in the corner, like however you are garnering that attention. And
Hmm.
I want to change the word from attention to focus. Okay.
Yes.
To focus. It's like you need to get people to focus on you and what you're doing, be your own best advocate for promotion, you know,
Exactly.
it, in a good way, because you know yourself best and you know like what you want to put out there.
Hmm.
And it's like a balance, right? Like some of the biggest, I should say, I don't know about the best, but some of the biggest channels out here on the platforms, and not just YouTube, because by the way, we're on both YouTube, Twitch, and Kick all at the same time. Probably on my channel and also on Rekkrs, probably over there. Did you sign? I don't know if you did
Oops, I
today, but
forgot to. Oh
that's
well.
okay. Sometimes we're over on Rekkrs channel at the same time, but we're on multiple platforms, and that's also to build up focus and attention to what we're
Hmm.
doing out here, uh, in you
Absolutely.
know, to shine a little spotlight on what we're talking about and stuff like that. And I have to say, I've been out here for a few years now. Like, I mean, coming up on 5, I think maybe, and I'll have to say it took a little getting used to the fact that you have to spotlight yourself. You have to put the attention on yourself. Like you can't barely depend. It doesn't come from anywhere else. It has to come from you first. Uh,
Absolutely.
so people look, and it was uncomfortable.
Hmm.
I'll admit that. Like I don't think it's in everyone's nature to be
Mm.
peacock. You know what I mean? Like
No.
I don't. You know what I mean by that? Like the
Mm.
fancy tail feather and like showing off and
Yeah. It
and
is. I don't think it's. I don't think. I don't think it's very often something that comes naturally to many people.
mm-hmm.
There
And
are
you could
there are some people that absolutely they peacock coming out of the womb, like they're shaking their tail feathers just being born.
right, and those are the ones that it's obvious that they're trying though, right? Like you can
Mm.
like that can be a turn off too. If you're trying too hard, like
Mm.
people will start ignoring you or you do it too often.
Yup.
But then there's like people like me, I don't mean to, but I enter a room and I say something and then all of a sudden like everybody's looking at me. I have a bad habit of dropping things that turn into hashtags immediately. Mrs. Mrs. Cassandra, don't start. Like, but you know what I'm talking about. Or, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the reputation thing that kind of like precedes you. Like,
Mm.
I have
Yup.
had to deal with that as far as rumor and, you know, interjection and stuff like that, to where people are like talking about you, you don't even know like where it's coming from or whatever. So you enter a room and then everything, the spotlight's just on you automatically, and they're watching every little word and every little thing you do.
Mm.
It could be uncomfortable, but it can also be used to your advantage.
Mm.
And I think in my own personal experience, by not addressing the bad and focusing only on the good, that actually worked for me and moved me forward. You know,
Exactly.
and I had to just get used to the attention and just say, oh well, it is what it is. And I think you're one of my friends who actually helped me with that, with constantly, almost every day, telling me it is what it is. Any damn thing you can do about it. It is what it is. Just go with it. which was very good advice because you can't focus on things you can't change. It's a waste of time. Like
Yeah, that's
you
true.
can
You can't.
you can you can only focus on the things within your control, which is usually your own reactions, your own statements, or your own endeavors, what you're trying to put out there. Put all your focus on it, you know. But the attention thing is tough. I say that as I sit here, like on YouTube, several times a week. Yeah, I know. It sounds very hypocritical, doesn't it? Like, but it's true. Well, you know, because you stream with
Mm.
me. Am I not like a nervous wreck before every stream? Like every single one? 5 years in,
Yeah.
like, yeah. I'm just like,
Hmm.
oh, like, how's it gonna go? Oh my God, we're like this, you know. Yeah. It's not a comfortable thing, you know. Also, why I use an avatar so I don't have to worry about some of the other fears, you know,
Mm.
to try to relax me, you know, give me one
Yeah.
less thing to panic about. The attention,
Exactly.
you know, it's like what, you know. So, do you find with that the attention when you're, because you play music and you even do it live on Twitch? I mean, we've been there for your
Hmm.
practice sessions. Um,
Oh yeah.
you,
I get nervous as all hell. I'm like, I'm like, should I be doing this? Why am I doing this? Why I'm doing this? Why am I doing this? I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, that's kind of bad to have that like right in the middle of the stream. Like, why
Hmm.
am I doing? Yeah, I can
Just
see.
have a,
But
there's always that little existential crisis you have just as you're doing something. It's just your whole life flashes before your eyes.
oh, God, it's bad. Yeah, that's not a good position to be in. But you know what? I
Mm.
can tell you from being at those streams and modding for you, nobody can tell that like that you're that nervous. Like, no, they can't because you play and you're charming and you know you just move forward. You know, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Your gaming streams are fun because you're a
Mm.
little more relaxed, you know, in your language. I guess it's because you're gaming at the time. So
Mm.
you revert back to the behavior you do when you game by yourself or you're playing with your friends and you're like talking and carrying on and being very boisterous and stuff like that. And so you forget that everybody's there watching you game. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like until somebody says something in chat and you catch it, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
like yeah. But
Yep.
yeah, you know, so it's a little easier. You know.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's why a lot of people that are gaming commentators because they can game while they're commenting on events and talking
Yeah.
about stuff. And it's more relaxing for them because gaming is comforting to them. You know, something they do all the time.
It
So
is. Yeah. And
maybe I should go ahead. Sorry.
and it's something fun to do. It's very you can be mindless depending on the game. Unless you're
Mm.
playing something that requires like a whole bunch of concentration, you can be pretty mindless and hold decent conversations with people.
Yeah, it's you know what it's. I often wonder if I should take up gaming to do commentary again. I always think
Hmm.
about the other show I used to do. The you used to do with me and Mrs. Cassandra and several others. We used to do the What the F show and
Mm.
comment on crazy stuff that's going on in stuff we see in the news or you know anything, all genres like music, just politics, entertainment, you know everything like just crazy
Yeah.
stuff. Even just crazy stuff that happens on the socials and everything. And I
Mm.
often think that it would be great to be gaming while we did that, but I don't know. I'm a terrible gamer and very competitive. It could get crazy. Like probably not a good mix. Yeah. Well, anyway,
Just have Tekken going. You button mash. You don't have to think about anything.
true, true. I don't know. I think the way I communicate, me not thinking, is probably not a good thing. Because
Mm.
like it, can you imagine? Like I always say exactly what's on my mind anyway. Can you imagine if I wasn't filtered? Like if
Mm.
it just came out. Well, wait a minute, Record. We do game behind the scenes sometimes and stuff. So you actually know exactly what I'm talking about. You've actually
Exactly.
experienced. me unfiltered. So has Mrs. C in the Discord when we're gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think YouTube would be ready for that. I don't think the socials are ready for that.
Nope.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Anyway, we should get this chapter started. So, thank you. I feel much more comfortable now. You always do. So this is Robert Greene's chapter 6, Law 6. The breakdown on this is, well, it's titled Court Attention at All Costs. And uh, he goes on to say that everything is judged by its appearance. What is unseen counts for nothing. Never let yourself get lost in the crowd, then, or buried in oblivion. Stand out. Be conspicuous at all costs. Make yourself a magnet of attention by appearing larger, more colorful, more mysterious than the bland and timid masses, So make yourself the event. Like, you know. So
Exactly.
kind of goes with like if you're going to be in it, right? Anything worth doing is worth doing 100%. So you got to believe in it, push it out there. It's very good. Go ahead.
Pretty much, I think I said this in the last stream, but pretty much everything is judged by its appearance, and we do all judge a book by its cover, even if we like to think that we don't.
We do in the beginning, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah, we do.
I actually had someone say that they've never judged a book by its cover, no matter what it is, and
liar, it's on fire.
Yeah, for one, I said you're flat out lying, and and the example I used is if I handed you a black banana, would you eat it?
No, you would think it was bad, even though like you can put a ripe banana in the refrigerator and it'll turn black and it's still perfectly solid and good and at perfection. But the skin will be black, right? But yeah,
you're having to judge it by its cover.
You would automatically think it's bad. I think that people in general, we all judge anyway, like, right?
Absolutely, and it's a perfectly
to different degrees. It's normal.
Perfectly normal thing.
It's part of
we're designed. We evolved to judge stuff.
We had to. It's flight or fight. It's about survival. If you do not judge a situation immediately and take like quick responses to what's going on around it and just make quick judgments like that, the human race would not exist. I mean, there were dinosaurs and big things that wanted to kill us and rocks and listen, it wouldn't exist. Let's just say that. It was all absolutely necessary and it's hard coded in us now. And so you just try not to judge harshly. You try to take a second look, but nobody can deny that you're not judging on appearances and all for that first take, that very first instinct, that really quick. We all are doing it. Anybody that says they're not is just not looking at reality. They may be focusing on the after that they try to take their time about it or readdress it.
Another really good example. If someone was walking towards you covered in blood with a butcher's knife in their hand, would you give them a hug?
No, I'd be judging the run the other way. Like, no, I had no problem saying I'd make a quick judgment on that. And I would recommend that the quicker the judgment you make on that, the better.
Exactly. But
blood,
you're judging a book by its cover.
It's covered with blood. I mean, come on, like seriously. I do think that people just don't. Because myself, you hear me say it all the time. I try really hard to back up and not be so judgmental, even though you're making judgments all the time on stuff. But I try to back up and then look at the whole thing from a different angle, and that's a little different. But we can't deny that we all just don't judge immediately coming right out of the box. We do. But I think society tries to say that that's like a bad thing. It is if you stay that way. Okay. It is if you only do that, and never readdress anything when you get more information and stuff like that.
I often find the people that try and push that the most are people who often have a lot of, I would call fake virtue.
It
Uh,
is. I think people try for it to be true virtue, but you're right. It
oh
does
yeah,
come
there
off
like
very fake.
there are people that often that can like have that
Mm-hmm.
not judging someone instantly, but they're very few and far between, and more often than not, it's completely surface level.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Um, but I don't think it's intentional that people all want to do it like immediately on purpose. I
Oh,
think most of
absolutely
us
not.
want to give
No,
people space because we don't want to be judged ourselves, like by how we look. With it,
no.
like there's more to us than like the color of our hair, how tall we are, what we weigh.
Mm.
Just like what we do for a living or whatever. Like people don't want to be judged on one thing, like immediately and stuff like that,
There,
or by those kind of standards. Yeah.
there is actually currently going around in across a little bit of YouTube and some of the commentaries, some of the
Hmm.
not commentary spaces, some of the uh, uh, some other some of the other parts, I guess you could call it the commentary spaces, called and don't come at me for this, but it's called the septum theory. Have you heard of the
Hmm.
septum theory?
Explain, because I think I have, but I want to be sure. Yeah.
So, um, the septum, I don't know it perfectly, but from what I understand, the septum theory is if you want to know how problematic someone's going to be, um, more often than not, the people with septum piercings are the more likely to be uh, difficult to deal with. And
Oh,
this
I know
isn't
what you. Oh, okay. So, okay, you. Well, now that's
this
judging. Okay, so that's
that's
judging by their
straight up
appearance.
judging.
It's
Yep.
judging by something that they've done, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
represents something, and you're kind of making a generalization. Which we, we
Exactly.
which
Yep.
we all do. I don't
Yep.
really agree with the deceptive. I don't really
No.
agree with that theory because I'm sure there are plenty of people who don't do with some. But here's why that theory takes hold and people kind of repeat it a lot. It's because, well, you would, okay, if we kind of break it down just a little bit, and this is going to come off as being quite judgmental and kind of narrow minded and stuff like that. And it's purposely I'm making that way just to let you know ahead of time. But you would think that somebody that does put a nose ring in, okay, is actually into making a statement, not afraid
Mm-hmm.
to have people looking at them. They're doing it for adornment. Like we wear
Mm-hmm.
makeup, women wear makeup or earrings, or anyone, or men get a certain hairstyle or wear their beard a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, when you're doing it for an adornment, and an adornment, and people are going to notice it and take look, and it's a bit edgy, so you're not afraid to be different. Okay. And well, let's just be clear, just about everybody out there making an opinion on TikTok has one. So
I was gonna say,
just
well,
like
the
okay.
biggest problem is the fact that there is confirmation bias, and that because
Unfortunately, yes. Is it
because
wrong? Absolutely. It's totally wrong. Everything I just said was judgmental and wrong to say. Because we
mm,
shouldn't be judging people that way. And I get that. But like there's a reason these things take root is my point.
mm,
Is because, well, if you're out there screaming at the top of your lungs about an issue and being argumentative and attacking people and you're wearing one, well, you're adding to that perception.
yes,
And since people
I
already kind of think it, as soon as you do it, you're never going to get away with it. Like,
well,
yeah.
yeah, and I don't have TikTok up, but if I had thought about it prior, I would have
No,
actually
yeah, please,
brought
yeah.
TikTok up and been like, let's try and disprove this.
No, no.
And
See,
these are things that I've tried to disprove before, and more often than not, I have seen like a lot of people with septum piercings tend to have very abrasive opinions.
Because they're confident, and people
Oh,
also
absolutely.
define confidence to be abrasive. I mean, I face this all the time. I come off very confident because, like, kind of am. I'm kind of
Well,
sure
I
about the
shouldn't
things I'm
say
saying and
abrasive,
doing.
but
Yeah.
combative.
Well, yeah, but it's so easy to pin
And
that
it
on people that are
Oh, absolutely.
strong, like,
It is really easy to.
right.
Um and it's not a rule of thumb, and to be fair, this is only in one area. TikTok is not the real world.
Yes, please. TikTok is not the thermometer to take the temperature of the world by.
No.
Please do not. Yes, because, like, it's kind of out there.
Mm.
It's kind of like a snapshot into extremism. You
Yeah, absolutely.
okay.
And you're going to get the
Everything's
most extreme
larger.
people.
Yes, everything's larger than life and bigger, and stuff like that. But like I said, like, we all have a tendency to be that way, and these generalizations and things like that are out there. Um, like you said, let's go try to disprove it. Well, I can absolutely guarantee that no matter what we saw, we could either confirm or deny based on where we were coming from. Like, we would just be, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
it really wouldn't be a true test of anything. It would be
Well,
it, because
not
there'd be
just
definite. You might see it one way, I might see another, and the same actual person could deny it,
well,
except for the fact that they had a nose ring on. Like,
well the thing
really.
is, even if you prove it to be factual, by going on TikTok and finding out that pretty much everyone with a septum piercing has is some kind of super abrasive person. The only
Oh,
thing that you're proving is that more often than not, more often than not, the people on TikTok specifically with septum piercings are abrasive. It's
okay.
not
Or
you
or
can't
people,
transfer that to anywhere other than TikTok.
right. But here's the thing, like, you're using the word abrasive where I would use the word confident
Well, combative, sorry,
and
combative.
combative. But see, you're already with confirmation bias taking the theory and associating words with it in how you're going to perceive what you're going to see, even though you haven't seen it yet. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's how it works. That's how
Mm.
judgment and appearances at first glance, that's how it works. That's
Oh,
why
absolutely.
we always have to take, like, a second look. But
Mm.
this is all about attention. So you'd have to say that somebody that perhaps wearing the nose ring, whatever it represents to them, it definitely is a way to garner attention
Mm-hmm.
because it's a little different than somebody else, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
is some kind of adornment, and it would be the same as wearing flashy earrings or bright makeup, or something different, or doing your hair in a different way than
Mm.
everybody else, whatever. It's a way of expressing ourselves, but it is,
Mm-hmm.
it is a way of garnering attention, which we all do in some way.
Mm.
So, like, we're not disparaging anybody that's wearing a nose ring. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
No.
just saying, like, totally. But this is how those first judgments and all garner these kind of things that you always have to take a second look. And you're at
Exactly.
risk, and you can be at risk when we're garnering all this attention to ourselves for all those biases that come along with the things that we're doing.
Mm.
Because we all do it based on our experiences with that situation, environment, or perception of who we think those people are, based on who other people were in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you may judge people that dye their hair pink based on the really rude customer service person at the cafe who had pink hair for every day on the way to uni. You went in and got your coffee, and they were just obnoxious to you every time. They
Oh my
always got your
God!
coffee wrong.
Don't
They
get me
always got your
started on
coffee
her.
wrong.
She
They
she was an
overcharged you.
absolute. I'm not even gonna talk about her.
It's and so now this really cute girl joins the class, sits down next to you, and oh my gosh, she's got pink hair, and you just groan and move your seat. Like, you prejudge this poor girl just walks in and she just happens to have pink hair, and you're making the assumption that, oh my God, it's one of them. I'm at, like, you just move. Like,
Virgin Mary comes sitting next to you, and she's got pink hair. You're instantly just gonna be like, yeah, nah, I'm good.
no, but it's based on your experience from before. Like, you know what I mean? And so, like, we all do that kind of, and I know we're over exaggerating the situation here. Yes, we're making like bizarre, over exaggerated. I mean,
Oh,
I know,
absolutely.
Rekkr, he would not get up and move regardless of who sat down there. He would not
No,
do
no,
that.
I'd pick them up
Like,
and throw them away.
no, maybe, but he wouldn't get up and move his seat, or do
No,
anything like
kidding.
that. Actually, he has great manners. He would never actually do something to embarrass somebody, even slightly that way. You
No,
know, like he would,
exactly. Yeah, I
yeah.
wouldn't ever.
He may not talk to them, but he might like just pretend they're not there, but he's not going to do anything to embarrass it. But I know that that's an over, an over exaggeration. But let's get to the stories about garnering attention and how it can work for you. Um, here, I think, because like that whole thing with TikTok is really throwing me off now. I'm going to have to get back, because I find myself trying to explain how I don't want to be judgmental, but I am judgmental just like everybody else. Like, I just try to keep it to like a minimum. Always readdress it, like, as a habit. But the historical examples that Green used in the book for chapter 6 are pretty good. I like this. You get to read the first one, and for those of you following along, the presentation slides for all of the chapters is linked below as we go. If you like to
Yep.
follow along, in it, also the link to the PDF from that we're reading from, that has the whole book, is also linked below if you want to
Yes.
follow along. But Rekkr is now going to soothe us with his lovely tones and read the first example, so that we can
Okay.
get a good grasp on what Green is talking about.
Yes. Did we read the judgment? I don't think we read the judgment.
I did in the
Oh, you
beginning,
did?
but we
Oh,
talked so
okay.
much about all this other stuff
We
that we
forgot
both
about it.
forgot. And if I hadn't have made
Okay.
a note and crossed it off, I would have been asking the same question. So don't feel bad. But I'm looking
Okay.
at the sticky. I crossed it off. I'm confident we read it.
And we read the part one surrounding your name with sensational and scan. Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did. That's what I mean. I
Yes.
crossed it off. Like, yeah, believe it. I have a
Okay.
tick. I have a ticking system here. Can
Oh,
you see?
excellent.
Shh! Don't tell everybody I'm
That's
really
one
that
of us.
organized. Yeah, this is supposed to look like it
This is
like comes natural.
yeah. This is why Claire runs the thing, and
Audie.
I just hold up the numbers. I'm the person in the ring that holds up the numbers and looks nice.
Can you people believe this? Like, what a way to take accountability, like lack of accountability here. It's gonna put everything on my shoulders here.
Me take accountability.
All right,
uh
you better get to reading, dude.
okay. Observance of the law. P.T. Barnum, America's premier 19th century showman, started his career as an assistant to the owner of a circus, Aaron Turner. In 1936, the circus stopped in
Annapolis.
Annapolis, Maryland, for a series of performances. On the morning of opening day, Barnum took a stroll through the town, wearing a new black suit. People started to follow him. Someone in the gathering crowd shouted out that he was the Reverend Ephraim K. Avery, infamous as a man acquitted of the charge of murder but still believed guilty by most Americans.
Hmm.
The angry mob tore off Barnum's suit and was ready to lynch him. After desperate appeals, Barnum finally convinced them to follow him to the circus where he could verify his identity. Once there, old Turner confirmed that this was all a practical joke. He himself had spread the rumor that Barnum was Avery. The crowd dispersed, but Barnum, who had nearly been killed, was not amused. He wanted to know he wanted to know what could have induced his boss to play such a trick. My dear Barnum, Turner replied, it was all for our good. Remember, all we need is to ensure success. All we need to ensure success is notoriety. And
Mm.
indeed, everyone in the town was talking about the joke. And the circus was packed that night, and every night it stayed in Annapolis. Barnum had learned a lesson he would never forget. Barnum's first big venture of his own was the American Museum, a collection of curiosities located in New York. One day, a beggar approached Barnum in the streets. Instead of giving him money, Barnum decided to employ him. Taking him back to the museum, he gave the man 5 bricks and told him to make a slow circuit of several blocks. At certain points, he was to lay down a brick on the sidewalk, always keeping 1 brick in hand. On the return journey, he was to replace each brick on the street with the one he held. Meanwhile, he was to remain serious of countenance and answer no questions. Once back at the museum, he was to enter, walk around inside, then leave through the back door and make the same bricklaying circuit again. Man, that's a good gig. Just putting bricks on the
Bricks.
ground and walking around.
Exactly. Yeah, hey, he's earning the money, you know. Huh?
Yeah, I wonder if it paid well.
Huh?
On the man's first walk through the street, several hundred people watched his mysterious movements. By the fourth circuit, onlookers swarmed around him, debating what he was doing. Every time he entered the museum, he was followed by people who brought tickets to keep watching him. Many of them were distracted by the museum's collections and stayed inside. By the end of the first day, the brick man had drawn over 1,000 people into the museum. A few days later, the police ordered him to cease and desist from his walks. The crowd were blocking traffic. The bricklaying stopped, but thousands of New Yorkers had entered the museum, and many of those became P.T. Barnum's converts.
That's clever. Like,
This is very clever.
it was like very unobtrusive too. It's like I'm just doing this, and nobody knows what he's doing, so they start following. Because we're all curious creatures, are we not? We're all a bunch of busybody, nosy, whatever. Especially back then, they didn't have TV. They definitely didn't have the internet. Like
It's a
they were
very
following.
non-intrusive. Yeah.
Yeah, they were following people around instead. Pretty good. Pretty good.
It's kind of genius in a way because it's a non-intrusive way of getting attention. Like nowadays, the most common way for people to get that kind of attention in public is, as we all know, is to play the stupid practical jokes, and everyone groans, and occasionally someone gets shot. If everyone remembers what happened to one of those practical jokesters.
No, yeah, let's not even go there, please. Yes, please. Yes. But no, it can go too far.
But this is kind of brilliant. This is absolutely.
Well, it's harmless. It's harmless.
Yeah, it's harmless.
Well, except for blocking the traffic, which really wasn't,
Yeah, I mean it's not great, but like it's still it's a lot better than what most people do nowadays. But anyway.
I do have a perfect example. Is Stop Oil, because like they will actually stop traffic in a way, and it's not exactly attention. It's definitely attention to the cause, but is it good attention to the cause?
No.
I wonder. I sincerely don't think it is. Like, although I think their cause is good, I think the way they implement it and try to draw attention to it is probably the worst that I've ever seen.
Exactly.
But obviously they've read this law and they know about Barnum, and they know about like any attention is good attention. Like any publicity is good publicity.
Especially if you want to make more people use petrol.
to run you over when you lay in
Yep.
the middle of the road. No, not that I'm advocating for that, but yeah, people just got annoyed. Like they really, and I
Oh
don't
yeah,
blame.
it
Yeah,
never like seeing what happened with Just Stop Oil made me want to drive a dirty diesel truck.
yeah, but you didn't. Like that's not.
Well,
That's not.
it's mainly because I
That's
couldn't
not.
afford to get one, but you know,
Well, yeah,
if I
but you have to
could.
admit that's not a reasonable reaction to
Oh
being annoyed
no,
at a
it is
protest.
100% a reasonable reaction.
No, no, it might be reasonable to say it, but if you actually did it, I think I'd hit. You might get a bear lecture. You really might. Yeah, actually, not might. You would. You
Uh,
absolutely would.
Actually, interesting thing about Just Stop Oil and diesel.
Mhm.
If what I remember correctly, uh, most modern diesel engines are actually a lot cleaner than petrol driving engines. So
This is true,
if
but
uh, so funny thing is, the most eco-friendly vehicle you could drive would be a diesel hybrid.
instead of a gas hybrid,
Yeah,
really?
would be a diesel hybrid. I could be wrong, and from what I understand about diesel nowadays diesel is still very dirty, but
I think it's
from what
cost
I've been told,
prohibitive.
diesel is
Yeah.
much cleaner.
I think it's cost prohibitive to turn it to the hybrid, and because for some reason they have actually stopped
I think
doing that.
I think I remember seeing that Mitsubishi had made a diesel hybrid. I could be wrong though.
Oh, they could really do it for most of the big trucks and stuff like that. They're all running on diesel and the big
Mm.
equipment. Like, that would actually be helpful and beneficial, but it's not really going to help with the stop oil protests at all.
No,
No.
no. Unfortunately, you have to put your foot on your brake when you're going near them.
Mm, okay, you better start
Anyway,
reading. You're going
continuing
to
on.
get yourself in trouble. Like, if I
um,
get a note from YouTube, I'm sending it to you just so that you know you are doing the response emails this week. How do you like
oh, it's way too much
that?
effort. I'll use ChatGPT. That'll fix everything.
That fixes everything.
Mm.
Hey, YouTube's using
Anyway,
it. Why not you?
exactly.
You'd be speaking their language.
Okay. Barnum would put a band of musicians on a balcony overlooking the streets, beneath a huge banner proclaiming free music for the millions. What generosity, New York thought,
Mm.
and they flocked to hear the free concert. But Barnum took pains to hire the worst musicians he could find. As soon as the band struck up, people would hurry to buy tickets to the museum, where they would be out of earshot of the band's noise and the booing of the crowd.
That's
Those
genius.
musicians must have like they must think they're the hottest shit
Yeah.
alive
Oh
because
God.
I would not be able to keep playing if people were booing me. I would walk away. I would just walk
Wow.
away. The first oddities Burnham toured. The first oddities Burnham toured around the country was Joyce Heth, a woman claimed. A woman he claimed was 161 years old, and whom he advertised as a slave who once been George Washington's nurse. Damn, that's
Mm.
wow. Okay. After
This is
several months,
that's
the
not the
crowd.
most outrageous claim that he made with his
No,
oddities.
that's the
Or
sad
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
After several months, the crowd began to dwindle. So
It.
Barnum sent an
Mhm.
anonymous letter to the papers claiming that Heath
Heh. Yes, you're right.
Heth was a clever fraud. Joyce Heth, he wrote, is not a human being but an automation made up of made up of whalebone, India rubber, and numberless springs. Those who had not bothered to see her before were immediately curious, and those who had already seen her paid to see her again, to find out whether the rumor that she was a robot was true. In
He's
1842, he's he
Clever.
really, yeah,
He knows how to
he knows
use
how to.
the. He actually knows how to get stuff out there. He calls the press. He reports on himself. He starts
Hmm.
rumors. Like, yeah, he's definitely keeping his name in the
Yeah,
public.
he knows how to work the crowd.
Hmm.
In 1842, Barnum purchased the carcass of what was proposed to be a mermaid. This creature resembled a monkey with the body of a fish, but the head and body were perfectly joined. It was truly a wonder. After some research, Barnum discovered that the creature had been expertly put together in Japan, where the hoax had caused quite a stir. He nevertheless planted articles in newspapers around the country claiming the capture of a mermaid in the Fiji Islands. He also sent the papers woodcut prints of paintings showing mermaids. By the time he showed the specimen in his museum, the national debate had been sparked over the existence of these mythical creatures. A few months before Barnum's campaign, no one had cared or even known about mermaids. Now everyone was talking about them as if they were real. Crowds flocked in record numbers to see the Fiji mermaid and to hear debates on the subject. A few years later, Barnum toured Europe with General Tom Thumb, a 5-year old dwarf from Connecticut who Barnum claimed was an 11-year-old English boy and whom he had trained to do many remarkable acts. During this tour, Barnum named Barnum's name attracted such attention that Queen Victoria, the paragon of sobriety, requested a private audience with him and his talented dwarf at Buckingham Palace. The English press may have ridiculed Barnum, but Victoria was royally entertained by him and respected him even after.
Oh wow, like that's something. The Queen actually won't like. I mean, he definitely kept his name out there. He made everybody curious about what he was doing. He
Talk
tried to
about
get.
success.
I mean, he just totally understood that you have to bring your own attention to what you're doing. You can't depend
Mm-hmm.
on other. It's like you can't depend on other people to do it. You really have to work to it. And he crafted it. I mean, the plotting of rumors, the sideshow stuff, the making little gimmick things out there. The music thing was so funny. Like, let me get the worst musicians so you don't want to stand out there and listen to them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna run inside and buy tickets, and everything geared towards getting people inside the museum. He knew that if he could get people to know it was there and to experience it once, that they would be talking about it, because he did. Even inside, everything was geared towards conversation and debate. Is it real? Is it not real? It was all, I mean, some of the stuff was so outrageous that you just knew it was fake to begin with, but you're like, why would you? Like, even the conversations, like, who would fall for that? But it kept getting people to come back and look at it
Well,
over and over and over again, you know.
well, the we are kind of geared to also be able to accept like very bizarre things. For instance, uh, if if David Blaine came to your city and was performing and you got free tickets to go see him, would you go see him even though you know everything that he was doing was basically just fraud?
Exactly, because he does it so well and so seamlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be trying to figure it out, but also it's the entertainment value of the whole thing. Like,
Exactly.
I can't do that. You can't do that. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see somebody do that. And I want to see, you know, is it that we're all being gullible? Like, how does he do it? You know what I mean? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like fascinated by it. When I went to Las Vegas, like, everything was over the top. Like, you knew all these shows were just like, whatever, not something, you would normally partake in. I went and saw Siegfried and Roy, and it was really just animals on display, like doing tricks and stuff. And you knew part of it was like fake, and they were really docile and stuff like that. Like, but you still went for the entertainment value of it, and to say that you saw
Exactly.
it because their name was everywhere, everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere at the time. So you know, that's just it. If the press precedes you even seeing it, it's just your curiosity, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's getting a lot of like, I don't know about you, but if something gets a lot of positive publicity, like I want to see for myself, like
Oh yeah.
not that
You either have to be getting a whole bunch of positive publicity or a crazy amount of negative
Mhm.
publicity, but still being able to make it attractive to see.
Exactly, yeah. In some of the most intriguing things that I want to become a part of, or those that have two sides, like big issues that have two sides of them and people are talking about, or what I want to get involved in that. Like I want to be part
Mm-hmm.
of that. Like I'm very attracted to it. I'm going right for it. You know what I mean? Like this is like my curiosity. Like I have to hear what
Mm-hmm.
people are saying about it on both sides. Like why is it? My first question is why is this so controversial? Why is this the topic of conversation right now? Like what's going on? You know,
Mm.
it's just so Barnum used all that to his advantage. Like he created those situations, over and over again. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah. But so I guess you know, I think rather than read the interpretation, I think we can just boil it down. Think you
Mm.
think, because we did go a little longer than I thought. I thought we would be looking for more, but we got sidetracked with TikTok a little bit in other things. But basically, like in the beginning of any venture, your career or some venture you're putting out there or anything, it's really important to spend as much energy you can on garnering attraction, focus, and I would say reputation for the project. Like start to
Mm.
build it. How you're doing it. But it's the quality that in the beginning, the quality of the attention, as we're learning from the Barnum story, is not that important. Like
No.
the Reverend Ephraim Avery story, where his boss used him to basically that he was pretending to be somebody else he wasn't, and it was false, and everybody knew it was false at the end, and they knew that they had set it up, but it didn't matter because 1,000 people were there watching the show for the day,
Mm.
so it didn't really matter, and people were talking about it, and that was the point of it. And so he successfully used that. The same thing with the bricklayer, and stuff like that. It's not the quality, it's just the fact that it works to get your name out there or to get people curious as to what you're doing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Barnum is a perfect example about negative or positive uh, attention was the ingredient for his success.
Yeah.
Um,
Just being able to use attention in general
mhm.
um to bolster whatever he's doing.
It's a perfect example. Barnum was constantly trashed in the papers for all of these antics and for his shows, and that he was a charlatan. We all know. We think P.T. Barnum. We think the circus and charlatan. He had sideshow that would show all these curiosities, like the hairy woman, and the oldest woman, and the mermaid or whatever, the monkey boy. He's had all these things, and they weren't true like in gimmicks, but they were really just to get you there to buy his snake oil, like to buy his tonics and stuff and all the trinkets and to make money on that kind of stuff. He used it, and he was called out for it in the papers constantly, and it didn't matter because it kept his name in there. He didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, in the interpretation, Green goes on to explain that Barnum literally would invite newspaper critics that had given him the worst reviews ever that give him a free ticket, first row seat, and let them see the show. And he didn't care. He wanted the interaction, good or bad, back and forth. You know, he he would even write. This I found interesting. If people weren't talking about his show, he would write to the paper and trash it anonymously, and say things about himself that would get people talking, like just to keep his name. Like
That's some 4D chess right there. Like
it, that
that's
is
some like that's some crazy I'm I'm thinking not only 4 steps ahead of you, but like 12.
We all know people who do it. We all
Mm.
do. I mean, I could probably list a dozen YouTubers right here who do it regularly. Like talking about like and probably not in stuff that you watch record, because I'm talking like drama channels and stuff like that. Constantly somebody's attacking him, somebody's doing this, somebody's doing that, and like, and it's just like keeping their name out there, keeping people interested in what's going on. There's always something going on. Like, do you know what happened today? Oh, somebody did this to me, like, or whatever. Somebody said this, or like whatever. It's just like ongoing, and it's definitely to keep the attention. To keep the attention there, because that's how you keep the channel going. Clicks, lives, views. We do it here,
Mm.
every week, coming out with something, trying to be entertaining. We want people talking about it. We want people looking at it. We post on Twitter about it, or we make little comments here and there. Everybody does it. But
Exactly.
negative or positive. You know what I mean? I mean,
Mm.
how many times have we seen in the socials someone get attacked and it looks like they're going to get canceled, and they actually come out like ahead and better because the focus has been put on them, and then it's up to people to interpret why and check out their channel or their project or their business, whatever it is about it,
The
depending
only
on how they handle it.
Yeah, and the only way anyone ever really gets cancelled is if they cancel themselves. It's not so much like the idea the idea that they're the only was it the only there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Mm-hmm.
There is bad publicity. There absolutely is bad publicity, but that's only when you don't know how to deal with with the publicity that you're receiving. If
Mm-hmm.
you can take something, if you can take, for instance, something negative happening, and like use it. So, I know a really good example.
Mm-hmm.
Remember in the TV show Power,
Yeah.
with the guy that was trying to go for public office, and his microphone got left on, and he was like ragging on his opponent, and that
Mm-hmm.
was basically publicized, and it was like really devastating to him.
It was because he was like, he always had this positive face and he always took the high road. And then when the mic
Yeah,
was on, people saw that like he was being a bit
he
hypocritical because
he
he's
was
like trash
being too
talking the
fat.
guy
Yeah,
really bad. Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
yeah, and he was mortified because it basically besmirched him. But
Hmm.
like that would be considered bad publicity. The thing is, he could have 100% taken what he said and just owned it. All
Hmm.
he needed to do was simply say, "Yeah, I said that. I said that this person is an absolute trash human being who can't even find their way out of a wet paper bag because it's true."
True. And then you get people like, you
And
all thought it. I was just saying what you all
yeah,
thought, like behind the scenes. I made the mistake of not saying it in front, but I'm saying it in front now. I stand
yeah,
behind everything you said. The guy's
mm,
trash. Yeah, yeah, that would have
exactly.
been perfect. Yeah, that would have been perfect. Yeah, yeah. It's
And more often than not, and we see this all the time in normal publicity, in normal real life, like people
mhm,
taking really negative situations and flipping them around to work in their favor.
mhm. Because we're all human. I
Yeah,
mean,
we're all human.
when you actually relate to people on the human aspect of it, that people make mistakes, or yeah, I shouldn't have said that, or whatever, or you stand behind it, take accountability, and say, yeah, oh yeah, but that's what I believe, like it or not, like
Mm.
we're all human, and people will relate to that. But people smell hypocrisy from a mile away and don't
Oh
like it.
yeah.
Even though we
It
all, and I know you too, I
well,
know all the platforms are going to come for me of this. But if you think that we're not all inherently hypocritical to some degree, like you're fooling yourself. We all have to actually strive not to be, because here's the simple fact: every day we are getting more information, and if we are actually doing it right, we are absorbing that information, considering that implication, and changing our opinions, our notions, and our beliefs based on constant flow of new information that we're absorbing. And so it's really easy to go back 4 years and clip something that somebody said and then clip something now that they said, and it will
Oh
be
yeah.
different. And you know what? It should be different, because if you haven't grown or observed any information in 4 years, like it's very rare that it would be exactly the same. And I'm not talking like the big things, like you know, whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, or you're an atheist, or your political aspiration or anything like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about anything. Like you can clip. You see it happen all the time on the socials, right?
Mm.
You know,
Wh-
it's so like we all are inherently hypocritical, because I will say this: time
Mm.
and new information makes us all hypocritical to some degree based on what you're looking at. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
you need to be honest about where you, like, why you're changing things or why you're doing it. Like, address it, especially if you get called out for it. Explain it,
Mm.
because it's
Well,
probably true. Like, if somebody calls you a hypocrite, it's probably true, but to what degree? Like,
well,
to you know.
when you kind of think about it, even though like we like to think, oh, we don't really like hypocrites and stuff like that. Ev- Everyone is a hypocrite in one way or another, and I
Hmm.
don't necessarily think that people don't like hypocrites. I think I think more often than not, it's how someone reacts to how they are. Like if someone gets called out for being some kind of hypocrite, it's more how they take accountability for it,
Right. How they
or
actually perceive the criticism or
mm,
the notation, and how they actually address it and move forward with it. I hear
yeah,
you on that. It's all in what they do with it, you know,
mm,
uh, to actually, because like just to come like right out like attacking would not be due. Usually if someone's calling you a hypocrite, it's about a specific issue. So it's real
mm,
easy to address it up front with how they're getting that information, why they're getting that information, why it could be perceived to be that way, and where you're
mm-hmm,
coming from, you know. And it's real easy to clear up, because, you know, listen, no one's
absolutely,
born with all these tricks. I mean, with all this stuff under their belt. I mean, Green goes out of his way in chapter 6 to remind us, like you did in the beginning, that none of us are born with the skill on how to burn brightly around everybody else and always
no,
put
exactly,
our best foot forward or handle every situation, you know, perfectly. Nobody. You have to learn these things. You have to learn to attract the attention, and what kind of attention, and how to do it, you know. But in the
and
beginning
that's
of
really
your,
hard nowadays.
yeah, and that's why he says, like, in the beginning of your career or your endeavor or whatever it is you're doing, you must attach your name and reputation to quality, like an image that sets you apart from other people. That's important. That's the bringing of reputation and attention together, because we all know reputation builds attention,
Mm-hmm,
negative or positive. Like we learned that in the other chapter. It is a
mm-hmm,
foundation, and you have to guard it. Your reputation, you know, your reputation enters the room before you do. And then when you get in the room, keep that attention on you by either dealing with the falsehoods about your reputation, or promoting your good reputation forward, or whatever endeavor you're going through. Like that's the key right there, is the moving forward. The building of each law, one on top of the other, is what's going to garner success. This one's hard,
exactly.
because nobody knows how to actually put attention on themselves like right away. Although,
Mm,
you know, we all have met children that just like come out of the womb smiling and dancing and entertaining
mm-hmm,
everybody. Um, we all have that friend that no matter who is there and talking, they're over there dancing in the corner so everybody looks at them, or they start fiddling, or, you know, doing tricks, or, you know, cartwheels. I had a friend when I was growing up that would literally, you started to talk to somebody else, they'd start doing cartwheels. I kid you not. It was the most bizarre behavior. Like, and now I see it for what it was. It's like, it was, you know, you're talking to somebody else, so they're moving the attention back to them, you know, because what did I do? I'm sitting there going, why the hell are they doing cartwheels? And the other person's like, what the hell are they doing cartwheels? Like, what's that all about? You know, it's just like, it works, right? It's dumb,
mm-hmm,
but it worked, you know. But you know what I mean? Like, just
yeah.
like, there's all that stuff. It could be, something like that, or just some people do it with how they dress or move through the world, things that they
Mm-hmm.
say, personality quirks, something to be amusing. But once you establish that the way that you're doing it, you're actually just making room in a very crowded environment um,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
for yourself to shine.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody's just trying to get, noticed. You got to be in it, right, to win it, and you got to have people knowing you're there. You're not gonna get it,
Exactly.
you know. Um, and he reminded us that in the beginning, it's not so bad to be controversial. That to
No.
be attacked for what you believe in or what you've said or done is not necessarily negative. For one, it gives you a platform to explain it or back it up or say, yeah, you're right. It gives you the opportunity to have the light on you for a while, for whatever reason,
Mm-hmm.
to move forward through it. So, it's it's a good thing. It's actually a good thing, whatever it is, to be praised and or criticized, but to have people notice and make a conversation about it is a really, really good thing. But he also avoids you being known for causing these kinds of events, like, you
Mm.
know, some kind of tragedy all the time. People get sick of it pretty quick. You gotta,
Exactly.
once you've established that attention is on you, you've got to cultivate it to be the right kind of attention. So so basically, in a nutshell, he's saying in the beginning, just get the attention, and
Mm.
then cultivate the attention to be the right kind, to keep
Yes.
moving forward. So that people don't get sick of you. Um, you know, but there's all different kinds of attention. And we just heard about Barnum using every trick in the book, just about.
Mm-hmm.
Barnum, he welcomed personal attacks. He never really defended himself. He just let people like say what they wanted. To where when you give freedom to people to say how they feel, they will keep talking about you. Like
Mm-hmm.
they will keep those conversations going. He didn't try to stomp them down. It didn't bring negativity. He just like kept encouraging people to keep talking about him. He did all these little things. He even badmouthed himself. He started rumors. He took out ads. He did false, deceptive type advertising. And when it came down to it, even though everybody knew he was full and fast ones, they were all couldn't wait to see what he did next. And they were all there to see
Exactly.
it. They all were like, whether they approved of it or didn't approve of it, like they were all like there to see it. So it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, really well, you know. Um, the book also talked about, before we get to the other part too, the whole big thing about how Edison took attention away from Nikola Tesla, you know,
Mm-hmm.
by being out there more, talking about the experiments more. Nikola Tesla was quite reserved. He wasn't as well known. They were both inventors at the time that were really working on great things for the future. But Edison was just a little more clever on how he used reputation and attention
And
and
he
focus.
really took shock tactics to a whole new level.
He really did. I mean, to the benefit of that, he really kind of shot himself in the foot a little bit, but it worked in his favor. Um, right? Are you talking about the one story about the Nobel Peace Prize that they're both inventing this, and the committee came to them in to Edison, and they wanted him to share the prize with Nikola Tesla because they were both working on the same kind of thing from different angles. But rather than give Tesla any attention at all, Edison turned it down and said he wouldn't share the prize, and they ended up giving the Nobel Peace Prize to somebody else for
Uh,
physics that year,
no,
to a pair
no.
of English physicists. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Um, I mean shock tactics as in he literally electrocuted an elephant to death.
You mean I didn't get your pun and I actually turned it into something else? No, I mean
you
he did
you turned it
actually,
into a a learning thing.
but he
Oh,
actually did. He actually did.
yeah.
Yes,
No,
but
he
he
did. He
didn't.
did.
But he didn't actually do it. physically. He did it in a short story, satirical poems that he was writing. It wasn't him though. That was the Roman, that was Pietro Argentino with the right with the Pope, because the
Who?
Pope, yeah, because the Pope had a pet elephant that he was fond of.
No, Edison did electrocute an elephant to death.
He
It
really
was
did.
yeah, no, he really did. He wanted to teach the dangers of oh no, it was either showing the power of AC or showing the dangers of DC or something like that. And so he took an elephant and electrocuted it. And
Oh my
he
god.
actually did it to quite a lot of animals.
Oh my god.
So yeah, he took shock tactics to a whole new level.
But they're saying it's a myth. But okay.
Is it?
Yes, they're saying that he wasn't actually present there, but it did happen. Topsy was a circus elephant with a history
I
of abuse and stuff, and yeah.
If I
Anyway,
remember correctly, one that I'm pretty sure is documented is that he did use he did um essentially invent the electric chair
yes, they did use his invention to do it. Yeah,
to
and
yes,
so yeah,
and it took
yeah.
2 times to try,
Well,
which was
because and here's
quite a
how
bit.
this rumor actually, and which is actually to Edison's benefit, because here we're showing that getting attention, however, with your name actually moves forward. Here we are in 2025, and it's actually still a common myth that Edison electrocuted that elephant. Actually, they used his technology. And the reason Edison's name is associated with it, where do you get this? It's because he has a film crew called Edison Manufacturing Company, which the circus that was actually going to electrocute Topsy but for her bad behavior and how she was being with the trainers and stuff like that. They were going to put her down and they were making an event out of it. Okay. They used that film crew, Edison Manufacturing Company, to actually film it.
Yeah,
And the,
that's what I
and the
thought.
footage,
There's
and the
actually a
footage,
film of.
it's called Electrocuting an Elephant. Okay, and it
Mm,
contributed to the misconception that Edison is actually directly involved in the execution of this elephant. He was not, but they used his manufacturing company, the film crew. In yeah, that's how he got there. See that? And he just never corrected it. He didn't go out of his way to get them to stop talking like that, right? So
well,
that's why it still exists.
there's a perfect example of garnering reputation at any.
Well, because he
Mm,
had during what they call the war of the currents between AC and DC, between Tesla and Edison.
mm-hmm.
Actually, Edison was conducting public electrocutions of animals using AC current to discredit the the actual technology that was promoted by his rival Nikola Tesla.
That's right.
He
AC is
he
what
he he was
Tesla's
he
and
was
DC
burning
is
bunnies
Edison.
to
Yep.
try to get people to hate Tesla, and it
Yep.
worked. It did.
Mm-hmm.
It worked. They were like, "Oh my god!" Like But that's how you see all of this, and he never stopped the rumors. Like he let them think that he electrocuted that elephant. You don't care. You're talking
Mm-hmm.
about him, right? Talking about him, his company. Um, but it is kind of sad. They actually that poor elephant. They fed them laced cyanide laced food before giving them a final electrocution. It took a lot of like things
I
to
can
do it.
imagine.
Yeah, it was
Mm.
terrible. It's a very dark example of animal cruelty from that era. They weren't
Mm-hmm.
really into it, at the time. They even had the Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals that still exists today, the ASPCA, was actually involved back then and tried to get them to stop and stuff like that, but no, it didn't. But that's funny because you know the
Mm-hmm.
rumor is that Edison electrocuted an elephant. So it's like true and not true, but it doesn't matter because he got all the attention for it. He definitely
Yeah.
did, and it worked. It definitely worked. But it is true about the elephant, in the other
Mm.
story. Like that's weird because Green uses both those stories like one paragraph away, which was why I thought you were talking about the one instead of the other. You
Oh
know,
no. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Like he
Mm,
talks about that of how this guy made up these stories about a public figure to garner attention to himself because he was attacking the Pope and with these poems, these satirical
mm-hmm.
poems. In how that got him the attention. And it was negative attention because people were like, how could you do that to the Pope? He's such a, he's not something you should be doing and blah blah blah. But
He's such a
yeah.
holy man.
Yes, he's such a holy man. He would never
And he's great
electrocute an
with
elephant.
children, apparently.
Stop it. You're definitely going to be answering some emails from YouTube if you keep it up. You better stop. Like, you better just stop. Okay. I'm going to help you out. I'm going into part 2 now. We're going to create an era mystery. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this story. This is just like, this is when you don't have to do like all these tricks, whatever, you don't have to be outrageous. You don't have to start a vicious rumor. You don't have to do whatever to get attention. This one is a class act in how to get attention uh, in a little bit different way. In kind of good, kind of bad, but creating an air of mystery, which is another thing to put the spotlight on yourself. In a world growing increasingly banal and familiar because we see too much of it, what seems enigmatic instantly draws attention. Never make it too clear what you are doing or you're about to do. Don't show all your cards because an air of mystery heightens your presence. It also creates anticipation. Everybody's going to be watching you to see what happens next. You can use mystery to beguile and seduce, even frighten others to pay attention. The, their observance of the law for Green is beginning in 1905. Rumors started to spread throughout Paris of a young Oriental girl who danced in a private home, wrapped in veils that she gradually discarded. A local journalist who had seen her dancing reported that, I quote, a woman from Far East had come to Europe laden with perfume and jewels to introduce some of the richness of the Oriental color and life into the satiated society of European cities. Soon, everyone knew the dancer's name, Mata Hari. Early that year, in the winter, small and select audiences would gather in a salon filled with Indian statues and other relics, while an orchestra played music inspired by Hindu and Javanese melodies. After keeping the audience waiting and wondering, Matahari would suddenly appear in a startling costume, a white cotton brassiere covered with Indian type jewels, jeweled bands at her waist supporting a sarong that revealed as much as it concealed, bracelets all up her arms. Then Matahari would dance in a style no one in France had ever seen before, her whole body swaying as if she were in a trance. She told her excited and curious audience that her dancers told stories from Indian mythology and Javanese folk tales. Soon, the cream of Paris and ambassadors from far off lands were competing for invitations to the salon, where it was rumored that Matahari was actually performing sacred dances in the nude. The public wanted to know more about her. She told journalists that she was actually Dutch in origin, but had grown up in the island of Java. She would also talk about time spent in India, how she had learned sacred Hindu dances there, and how Indian women can shoot straight, ride horseback, and are capable of doing logarithms and talk philosophy. By the summer of 1905, although few Parisians had actually seen Matahari, her name was on everyone's lips. As Matahari gave more interviews, the story of her origins kept changing. She had grown up in India. Her grandmother was the daughter of a Javanese princess. She had lived on the island of Sumatra, where she had spent her time horseback riding and gun in hand and risking her life. No one knew anything certain about her, but journalists did not mind these changes in her biography. They compared her to an Indian goddess, a creature from the pages of Baudelaire, whatever their imagination wanted to see in this mysterious woman from the East. In August of 1905, Matahari performed for the first time in public. Crowds thronging to see her on opening night caused a riot. She had now become a cult figure, spawning many imitations. One reviewer wrote, Mata Hari personifies all the poetry of India, its mysticism, its voluptuousness, its hypnotizing charm. Another noted, if India possesses such unexpected treasures, then all Frenchmen will emigrate to the shores of the Ganges. Soon the fame of Matahari and her sacred Indian dances spread beyond Paris. She was invited to Berlin, Vienna, Milan. Over the next few years, she performed throughout Europe, mixed with the highest social circles, and earned an income that gave her an independence rarely enjoyed by a woman of that period. Then, well, near the end of World War One, she was arrested in France, tried, and convicted, finally executed as a German spy. Only during the trial did the truth come out. Mata Hari was not from Java or India. She hadn't grown up in the Orient. She didn't have a drop of Eastern blood in her body. Her real name was Margaretha Zell, and she came from the stolid northern province of Friesland, Holland. Now that is quite the story. Like
That
mystery, intrigue, developed a whole story around herself, and really nobody could figure out anything.
that
But
was
it
an
was bad.
unfortunate ending.
It is a bad engineer. I mean, she had great higher ambitions. I mean, she was coming into Paris in the early 1900s when so many women were to work with, in nightclubs and with artists,
Mm,
to become models or to be in the vaudeville performers at the Follies. Um,
mm-hmm.
and there was a flow of young women coming, only to be replaced in a few years by another flow of young women coming in from other countries. Um, and it was unfortunate because once they did all that without any other talents, they usually ended up on the streets with
Mm-hmm.
prostitution or else going home, just older and chastened in, feeling like a failure. They ended up leaving and going back home to wherever they came from. And she didn't want that. She cleverly crafted this to be different than everybody else. It wasn't going to be the same for her. And it was risky
Mm-hmm.
because it was, in the end, all that attention on her that actually got the charges of a spy being put on her. And nobody could actually prove out who she was. Well, she was exposed to all of these people. And, well, it could have been her. And why not be her? We don't know enough about her. Like, she's guilty, you know.
Exactly.
Um, in it true, it after she was convicted and executed, it found out that it wasn't true. Matahari was not a spy. Although when you hear the name, don't you think spy? I do.
Mm-hmm.
All the stories that came out, like people wrote like short stories about it, novels, there were movies, she was this intriguing figure. She still captured the imagination by having all this focus on her, from her mystery and her intrigue, and just telling people just enough but not enough to really know, but just enough that they want to keep trying to find out. Like, you think you know but you don't really know you know
Yep.
it's an inspiring story of how to get the spotlight on you, but it's
It
also
is
a
a
cautionary tale
cautionary
on,
tale. Yep.
yes, you to you know the mysterious is great because nobody can really grasp what's going on. But if you can convey it, okay, um the mysteriousness, because what cannot be sieved and consumed creates power. They can't
Mm-hmm.
just understand it and toss it away or put it aside. So it gives you power over the situation, which was pretty,
Exactly.
yeah, it was pretty a pretty good one. And the book has so many different examples. Well, would you like to read about our key strategic elements of this particular law?
Sure. So the key strategic elements are creating mystery and spectacle, as we were talking about. The law
Mm-hmm.
operates through two primary mechanisms: creating an air of mystery. Mystery creates anticipation and excitement that people never tire of interpreting. By being enigmatic, ig-
Enigmatic.
by
Yeah.
being able to actually pronounce a word, you become more understandable. Me, on the other hand, well, my tongue is a mystery.
Mm,
By being enigmatic, you force others to work to figure you out, placing yourself in a superior position.
mm,
Strategic spectacle. This involves crafting memorable moments that capture people's imagination, not mere extravagance, but calculated displays that resonate and linger in minds.
hmm
Yes.
Like, can you believe they did that? Or
Yep.
wasn't they so fantastic? Or just whatever it is that just keeps them thinking about you in your name on their lips. Because that's it. Getting yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
you know? Yeah. Oh, really. Let me just hit the button over here. Okay. So from the book, Green has given us, he always gives us this image to put in our head and then speaks on authority on the subject with a quote from someone. So the image he wants in our head for this one is the dance of veils, because the veils envelop the dancer and what they reveal causes excitement, and what they conceal still heightens interest. When you think about that, that's the essence of mystery. So you think about that, the dance of the veils that they do that Matahari used. She was revealing and not, at the same time, and
Mm-hmm.
causing great intrigue and bluster, and everybody's like talking about it and keeping it up. And then the authority of the situation. If you do not declare yourself immediately, you arouse expectation. Mix a little mystery with everything, and the very mystery stirs up veneration. And when you explain, don't be told explicit. In this manner, you imitate the divine way when you cause men to wander and watch. Baltasar Gracian in 1601. Yes. Well, interesting. Interesting. Would you like to do key points?
Yes. Key implementation points. Embrace calculated risk. Taking to step into the spotlight. Creating enigmas by doing something periodically that doesn't align with others' expectations. Use strategic timing when courting attention for maximum impact. Develop a consistent persona that is memorable and distinct. Never let yourself get lost in the crowd or buried in oblivion. Make yourself a magnet of attention through deliberate differentiation. Understand that being talked about, even controversially, means you matter.
Mm, okay.
Yes.
Focus is on you, right? Yeah.
And yeah, and we see that all the time on YouTube and on Twitch.
Right. Because it's like you said, that calculated risk taking that
Mm-hmm.
puts you in the spotlight or not. Like you just gotta weigh it out, like, here and there.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. Okay, but as with every chapter with Robert Greene, he's got a warning, and the warnings on this one are big. Okay, the warnings and the reversal of this one was a larger paragraph, which I'll get to, but um, basically, timing matters. This law primarily applies once you've reached a certain level of power of recognition. Withdraw too early, and people simply forget you. Keep at it too long, people will judge you for like doing the same thing over and over again, or just purposely trying to garner attention. Like, here's the perfect thing out here on the socials. Do you want to be known as a clout chaser? Do you want to be known as somebody that really doesn't have anything to say? They're just doing it for the clicks and views. They're not really believe what's coming out of them. They're just doing it for the attention. Like there's nothing behind it, so to speak. Avoid desperation. There's critical difference between commanding attention intelligently versus desperately seeking it. Overexposure can make you appear foolish or predictable. Cloud chaser, clicks and views, etc., etc. Respect hierarchies. The attention you attract shouldn't challenge the reputations of those above you. This connects to law number one: never outshine the master. If you're in the same genre as someone who is huge or whatever, you should not be trying to outshine them or be exactly like them, like or like. Although it works in your favor to garner attention, to actually go for someone who's more famous than you and challenge these situations, but it's risky because you will be seen as clout chasing after that person's reputation. And for what purpose? Just for clicks and views. And so it could work negatively too. You will be talked about though. You will get attention.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. But at what cost? That's what you got to weigh out. At what cost? It'll work just like all the stuff Barnum did, but at what cost? Barnum will forever be known as the charlatan. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh,
nobody could believe.
absolutely.
Like if he said, "Believe me, I'm telling you the truth," I would not believe this man. Look at all he did in his whole career to pull the
Mm-hmm.
wool over people's eyes or to trick or manipulate. Like there's no way I'd ever believe him. You know. But for what he did, he took that risk to wear that label because it built his business, so he didn't care. He made the
Exactly.
calculated decision. Evolution required. As you rise higher up, you must adapt and change your methods, or the public will grow bored. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
That's always true. Whether you're trying to garner attention or working on different subjects and stuff like that, like we, especially now in 2025, the
Oh,
environment we're in right
absolutely.
now, especially out here on the socials, people get bored so fast, so fast.
Mm.
Yeah. Mystery versus deceit. This is a good one. Your
Mm-hmm.
air of mystery shouldn't become a reputation for deceit. Mystery should feel like an engaging game, not a threat. Uh, the last thing you want is to make it appear that you're trying to pull the wool over people's eyes, that you're trying too hard, or that you're purposely manipulating them. People tend to have strong feelings about that
Mm-hmm.
and will be turned off, grow bored pretty easily, or create their own channel to combat you and get all the attention while they call you all those names. It's just like, which is true. This is true. Um, but uh, the examples that they gave, and that was the last slide. So I'll bring us over here like this. All
Mm-hmm.
of the actual examples that they put out there, there were older ones, right? They talked about King Louis XIV's court and how he had these like really obnoxious little man there that was always trying to one up everybody, but he found it amusing, so he
Mm-hmm.
always had him around. So this guy was like always had the attention on himself, and he did him well. It got him a good position in the court or whatever. That sometimes it's not the most pleasant person or the most talented person that gets all the attention. It's just one that just for some reason is entertaining everybody, or they're just enjoying having them around. um, but I think about in modern times, like there's a person that I really can't credit a talent to that is talked about in the press in constantly and has been for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say Kim Kardashian. Like Kim
Yeah.
Kardashian uses this attention thing to the best of her advantage. I mean, she came in without anybody knowing even who she was, and it was all about everybody being talking negatively about her because actually not negatively, it was controversy. It was about a leaked sex tape, and was she willing participant? Did she leak it? Did the ex-boyfriend was it revenge porn? All of that. It sparked a huge conversation and garnered her reputation and garnered her some attention and visibility, and her name became out there. And then it was for fashion and modeling and always looking a certain way, being beautiful, garnering that for herself, expanding her name by doing that public show they did, the Kardashians with the whole family, to keep
Oh,
themselves out there,
yeah.
which was kind of embarrassing, but not like they just really didn't care. Like I would care about people knowing everything that I talk about with my siblings all the time or what's important in my life. They was just they didn't care. They wanted to stay with their names out there, became a big family, got lots of investments, got lots of products, lots of deals. Every single one of those girls is making money independently on their own with
Hand over
different.
fist.
right, with all these different enterprises that they're starting, and it's because they stay in the news constantly. They feed rumors about their personal lives. They do their own Instagram stories. They know how to work it. They know how to work the PR thing. I mean, Kim Kardashian herself is like very mysterious in a kind of way, because she's also working for, like, unjust imprisonment, like the wrongfully accused, people that are sitting on death row or have guilty convicts, and there's actually evidence to prove that they're innocent. And she works with those projects and actually talks to legislators about new roles to prevent this, which big movements in getting DNA processed faster. We've got tons of it that still hasn't on the back burner, that hasn't been processed against the new technology that can prove somebody as definitely guilty or definitely innocent.
Exactly.
But you don't hear about that much, but that's a way that she keeps herself out there, and she's doing that. It is kind of mysterious. Like, you kind of think of the public image she has out there, right? And the attention that she gets, and then she's doing that. And I'm just like, well, that doesn't fit like that much. But whether negative or positive, they definitely have their name out there. The whole Kardashian crew.
And they make it work so well.
They really did. They actually built an empire on it. And there's been plenty of families in different industries that have done that. A musician that does it regularly whenever they've got an album coming out. I know we mentioned Kanye last time. I don't want everybody to leave. They probably already have, because it's getting late. But Lady Gaga does the same thing. She will create an event around her release and all, or a topic of controversy, and and just make it that everybody's talking about it. The wearing of the meat dress as a statement to one of the award shows, right? Something like that. And without saying anything, she starts a conversation that actually has her name front and center. Like, But can you think of any other examples?
I mean, I can think of ironically, I can think of an example where someone unsuccessfully tried to garner attention, which was Drake and him trying to build up some anticipation around his album with the
Iceman release. Oh God, did it get trashed? Yeah, we didn't even talk about that last week, did we?
Yeah, that thing fell apart.
I have so much fun talking about Drake. I don't know if I should go into that, but
no, we probably shouldn't. We'll end up here for another 3 hours.
I don't want to end up here for 3 hours. Let's just say that was a spectacular, just didn't go the way he wanted. Like, you can't anticipate this stuff. Like, you got to think about it, because he tried to do it. He was promising. He was calling up all of his friends and all the people that leaked stuff for him and telling them there was going to be the big red button push. I'm really going to drop something. It's going to be fantastic. It's really going to hit hard. And then everybody saw it and they went, what? What the heck was that? That is nothing like what you said it was going to be. It was a dull burger. It was a nothing burger. Totally.
Yeah. Basically, if Drake's attempt at building anticipation for his album was a planet, it would be Flat Earth.
It would definitely be Flat Earth, because some of his hardcore supporters were just trashing it. They were just shocked. They were just like, what the hell? This is not the time. This is not the time to do something like this. This is so dumb. Really, it was just, and then him publicly, well, he did get his name back into the people talking about it, because people stopped for a while there. They don't give a shit anymore.
I guess we are talking about him as well.
I know, and that's what really bothered him, because nobody cared anymore. If you don't care, you don't exist. If they're not talking about you, you don't exist anymore. And that's really important in the entertainment industry. People need to know who you are and care that you're still out there. And people weren't. So now he's heartbroken over the response that people had. Some of his best friends, in this, he's being judged too. I mean, he's basically taking the whiny boy route, but it's getting people talking. The other day, my whole feed, nothing but actual reactions to the Drake drop and his reactions to what people were saying. I kid you not, it's I watched one and there were 80 of them. It was too much. It was overkill. It was really funny. It was entertaining. I'll have to admit, I did spend a little time watching it. Yep. Yeah, it's a little quirk I have. Drake bashing is like a favorite pastime.
Exactly.
I'm not a perfect person. I admit it. I can't help it. But like, it just gives me so much material. At least I could say I've moved on. I moved on from Deaf Noodles. Like everybody knows
Hmm.
back in the day that used to be my favorite thing to
Hmm.
to go on about down straight. Anyway,
But someone who
yeah.
managed to actually create um, the a really good reputation for himself that sort of
Hmm.
has this very similar appeal as Keanu Reeves. He has that mystery
Yes.
about him.
Oh,
He
he's like the
has
male Matahari, but without the nude dancing.
exactly.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, Keanu. I don't care you're over 50. I'll pay to see that. He's just
He looks
absolutely
amazing for
mesmerizing.
50.
He's mesmerizing as the reputation of such a good person, of like he's
Hmm.
very talented, he's very grateful for the career he's had, but he's also got that thing where he's had a hard life that he doesn't really talk about that much, but he's been through some stuff. And
Oh,
wow.
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, and like wow. Like, yeah, he is an icon. I'll watch anything he's in. If it's funny, if it's serious, if it's a stupid B horror movie, I'm gonna watch it. I watched all the John Wicks. Like, yeah, I'll
Hmm.
watch them. I'll watch anything he's in. And I actually, if I see something come across that he's done an article, like there's an article or an interview, damn well I'm going to see it. His name garners attention for me. Like I go right to it. Like he's got that mystery. We don't know enough. He's been out here forever, right? A long
Hmm.
time. And yet we still don't know enough about him. He's got that mystery that like anything that he drops, you want to know more about him because
Exactly.
he's done that fine balance and he's quiet and not very opinionated. And that's why one of the other laws, you know, when he does speak on something, people take notice. It
Yep.
weighs more. It means more. Like it comes with some backing because he's
And
not out here yipping all the time,
yep.
about
And
everything.
anyone that knows Keanu Reeves knows the photo of Keanu Reeves on a bench, and everyone wants to know what he's thinking.
I just want to sit down next to him.
I
Mm.
would love to sit down and have a conversation with Keanu Reeves. I would
Well,
imagine he's probably one of the coolest people to just chill with.
yeah, don't we do this all the time? We're always talking, and I do this with a lot of my friends. Like, yeah, we could have him to dinner. This is what we would do, right? We could talk
Mm
about like anything. Like that would be some interesting dinner conversation, would it not? Like, absolutely,
hmm. Mm hmm.
yeah. But I wonder, would he talk? I think that's the mystery of it. Is he that reserved? Is he that shy? Is it going to be like pulling teeth to find out anything? Or is he going to like charm the
Conversation.
socks off us? Mm.
That now that would that would be an interesting conversation. Bear and Keanu Reeves have a fireside chat. Have a library chat.
I don't know if I could do that. He's not very like I'm much too pushy and too curious, and I would probably end up offending him. I would be petrified to tell you the truth because he seems so reserved. And I know I can be a bit much for people like that. Like they're just like and they run away. Like and I don't mean any harm. I just want to know every damn thing about you. Like all of it. Like, like, it could be a much for people to handle. Like. Plus, I'm
Fair
a
point.
gusher. I'm a gusher too. If I like something, I like it. Everybody knows about it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have it. Yeah, I promote all my friends. Like if I like your stuff, I promote the heck out of it, and people know. It just you know. But yeah,
Yep.
I don't think that conversation's ever going to happen unless you put a Reeves suit on, record.
Mm. Dreams are free. Dreams are absolutely free.
This is true. This is true. Hey, you brought it up. But on that, I think that just about wraps it up. What do you say?
Yeah, I would say so. I think that this was an excellent stream.
Oh, well, I think anytime we have a good conversation, it's an excellent stream because that's really,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, all I want to do out here is have good conversations. Like that's it. Yeah. I
Yep.
have no other aspirations or goal. Like just to keep the information flowing and have good conversations. It's like my favorite thing to do. And on that,
Exactly.
I think next week we got chapter 7. Yeah. In that
Mm-hmm.
one, let me just see what the title is. I try not to look ahead until the end of the
It
stream.
is get others to do the work for you, but
Oh,
always take the credit. This one's going to be a rough one. I'm
oh
calling it now. This
man.
one's going to be a rough one.
Oh, he could hear me whining about this already. He's like, Claire, I hope you don't mind, but I'll be putting you on mute until Friday morning. Like, see you then. That's gonna be rough for me. That is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Oh, okay. Well, everybody, not to discourage you, join us back, see if we survive the week and get through this chapter. We'll see you next Saturday, 6 o'clock Eastern, or Sunday morning at 10 a.m. if you're on the other hemisphere. Like over there.
Yep.
So
Okay.
thanks, Rekkr, for another entertaining conversation. These are always good. And thank you to the
Yes.
mods and to everybody that joined us. And for everybody that will be watching later, as you do, don't forget to like, share, please comment. I have enjoyed the comments lately, but I really want to know what you're thinking about stuff. So, let us know. Rekkr and I would both love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
And YouTube, just address it to Rekkr this week, okay? Like,
Address what? I don't know what you're talking about.
oh, you will. Oh, you will. Okay. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Talk to you
All
soon.
right. See you.